February 8th for health. And this meeting is being recorded audio and visually. Roll call, please.
Dave Adams?
Here.
Dave Williams?
Here.
Beth Stevens? Here. Anthony Gonzalez?
Here.
Roland Larry?
Here. Okay. Agenda item number 3, accept the minutes. You are given 2 sets of minutes, the January 11th and January 18th.
Make a motion to accept the minutes for the 11th and 18th of January.
Do them together. Your motion is for both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. A second? Second, okay. And the second. Any discussion? Those, all those in favor? Okay, unanimous. Agenda item 4, citizen forum. If there's anybody who has anything to bring forward to the board, please come forward. Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item number 5. When was the last time you got here? A minute later, you were
I was actually
talking.
on.
What was it?
I really only have one quick thing, or answer any questions the board may have. But we had, in process, we have one permit right now, which is the CAD 1 permit. So this is for the small closure on the east side of the landfill that will be constructed this year. So we received DEP's technical comments just last week. So we're in process of working on those comments. We expect that we will be responding to those fairly quickly. So then after that, there'll be a technical review period for DEP, and then the permit should be finalized. And if you follow out a strict time frame, it'll be somewhere in March that we expect to get that. And then construction would start pretty much right after, the end of mud season. So we'd be in a good time to start right at the beginning of construction season. That's really it. That's all I have.
Any questions? David?
Tracy, CAD 2 will start, is it after the December closing?
The actual process of CAD 2 will start this year. We probably will be doing a submittal in, I'm gonna say, the fall. And then that will be based on, everything that we know about the landfill is predictable. So we'll be able to put that application in for DEP so that we would be able to meet the next construction season. So the actual permit approval will probably happen in 18.
Okay. So on that note, do you foresee the landfill shutting down any earlier? Because I know you guys, from what I understood, was filling up and shut it down any earlier than December?
Yep. So most likely, it's going to be somewhere in that 4th quarter,
Okay.
pretty close to December. But everything is going to be based on the tonnage that's coming in. So as each quarter goes by, we'll be able to bring that in a little bit more.
Understood. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Any?
Couple questions. The CAD 1, that's the east slope closing. You said there'll be a technical review. Just to make sure I'm right on here. Is there any comment period on?
It's the same as any other permit, so there will be a comment
There will be a
period.
public comment
Yeah.
period? I know some things they don't. Also, you're proposing using a turf type finish. Are you familiar with this product at all?
It's
I
not
don't want to
something,
put you on the spot, so if you're not.
yeah, it's
that's
not
fine.
something that I have installed at one of my facilities, but yes, I have seen closure turf used. I've toured the other facilities in Mass who have used closure turf as part of us deciding as an engineering group that we were going to use it.
And how long has it been commonly used in Massachusetts?
I don't know
Or
the
anywhere.
time period. I mean, closure turf has been around for a good period of time, but I know there are several in Massachusetts who have been permitted with closure turf. This isn't a new thing.
All set, Amy? Okay.
What have they been using when they use that type of closure turf? What is the after use that's allowed with that type of?
For post-closure use, like if you wanted to put a golf course on a landfill or something like that.
Or anything like that, you can't penetrate that.
Well, you can't penetrate a traditional line, it's just a meter. So you can't do anything on a landfill that has any penetration. So if you were going to do, like a lot of people say, well, why aren't you putting windmills on landfills?
So you need,
You need valves.
the roots.
Yeah, so, it's more like solar blankets and things like that are the way to go on landfills now.
or
So,
like the solar fields that they use on roofs, that they use blocks instead of penetrating a rubber roof.
that's correct. And so a solar panel can accommodate that, a wind turbine cannot.
Okay.
So I am not aware that there's any more limiting factor with a closure turf application than there would be with a traditional cap. What you are gaining is better long-term maintenance.
Perfect, thank you.
Anyone else? If none, thank you, Tracy. Okay, agenda item number 6, old business. We should have the document for the final donation box regulations with the change. We only had one minor change, if I remember right, that we made permanent, and a couple of, I think, grammatical. Right? Are we all set?
If I can offer.
Yep.
I made all of the edits that the board at the working meeting requested I make. While I was making the edits, I ran into actually 2 items that raised concern with me. Marissa actually caught one of them while she was retyping it. On the 9423 notification.
9423?
Yep. It talks about how we would notify for a hearing, and we have the date of the hearing, the time of the hearing, and the purpose of the hearing. We never put in the location of the hearing, so I am suggesting we insert the location of the hearing.
That's fair. Did you already put it in?
It's in, yes,
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, because I see it right
it wasn't,
Yeah.
just.
Okay.
And then another issue that came up was under 6.2, while I was writing this, the graphics on the controller information is printed in at least 2-inch letters in height and contrasting color. So all the contact information is going to take up, 14 inches tall by, so I would recommend, it's huge. I actually looked at a 2-inch letter, and 2 inches is huge, it's going to take up the whole face. 2 inches is like this. So I would suggest to the board that they allow me to make this edit and move this forward, but under 6222, the graphics for the literal alert basically say they have to add as much fill at 8.5 by 11 square as it can. I would suggest we reflect that same language into the graphics for the controller information.
Just sort of fits, right?
Yeah. So if the board will,
As long as it's visible.
yeah, if the board will trust me to make that edit, I will make the edit, post it to the webpage, get a copy out to the councilors, try to find the contact number of some of these places that have them and get a copy out to them, and then start advertising this for a public hearing. I would advise we give the councilors significant enough time to get us back comments. So today is February, it would be my recommendation to try an April adoption, a hearing in April. Give them a month to get comments, and then we'll start advertising the hearing for April.
Is this gonna go to a subcommittee?
No,
Yes.
the Board of Health, has autonomy.
I know, I just didn't know
If
But
they
there will
want,
be public, we will have a public.
okay.
if they want me to come in, based on what they read here, if they want me to come in and comment on it or answer any questions, I will attend any meeting they want me to. The object here is to get as much advertising out as we can so that nobody says we can give them opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
So if the board is comfortable with this as a final draft with that one edit, I would just ask for confirmation and instruction to move forward.
So the only thing you're adding is you're gonna pretty much, are you going to keep the section the same, or are you just going to add the controller
I am
contact?
going to,
Is it gonna be 2 8.5 by 11?
I'm going to photocopy, no, not photocopy, I'm gonna copy
Right.
6222 graphics, and I'm gonna paste it into 6213 graphics.
And just have the controller contact information shall be printed near the receiver portal. Is that what you're saying?
The controller contact information, yes, but it will be on it'll be on an 8.5 by 11 rather than 2-inch letters.
No, but so it's going to say the controller contract information, it'll be printed near the receiver portal intended for, or is that what it's going to say, or is it just going to, are we eliminating all the middle things and it's just going to say no less than 8.5 by 11? Are you
The
keeping it towards?
Controller contact information is going to say, each donation box placed in the town of Southbridge shall be labeled with the name, address, and phone number of the controller on the box. 6212, location. The controller contact information required in this section shall be located conspicuously on the front of the donation box. And 6213, graphics. The controller information required in this section shall be printed near the receiving portal intended for depositing donation goods and shall be printed as to fill a rectangle no less than 8.5 by 11 inches. Or actually, it won't say near the portal, it'll say on the front, because the requirement is that it be mounted on the front of the box. The literal work has to be by the portal.
Okay. So we have the contact information, the location.
Yep.
So aren't we just adding that that is going to be on no less than an 8.5 by 11? So-
6213, graphics.
But it's not really graphics. You know what I mean? Is it,
It
am I
is.
missing
It
something?
is, it's the lettering.
It's graphics, it's how we want it depicted on this thing. It shall be on an 8.5 by 11 as full as it can reasonably be. That's
Okay.
graphics, fonts graphics. If we want them to do it in Sanskrit, that's graphics. Any way you want it displayed is
Okay,
graphics.
okay.
To eliminate that 2 inches,
Right, because it's gonna be the whole box.
otherwise you're not gonna,
Yeah, you'll have to have like a flag on top to finish it. It's huge.
you know,
We were joking around in the office about how big 2 inches, especially if your name's like Romanowski or something, it's just like huge.
Okay, I just,
Colors they get for the friend.
okay.
does anyone else, see, I'm seeing that we have the contact information, we have the location. Okay, we can just add in that it be put in contrasting colors, right? Basically I'm saying, do we really even need that section? Is that section even needed? Because,
Yes,
Yes.
and the reason it's needed is because I don't want them to put it in for font. It's gotta be readable from, so I want it big enough, as reasonably big enough that it can be read from without me having to wear these.
Get out of the car.
but that's not what you're saying,
Yes, it is.
because it's
We are dictating the size of this information.
the 8.5 by 11.
Yes.
But you still don't dictate the size of the font.
I do dictate the size because I am saying it shall be printed as to fill
Oh, okay.
a rectangle, no less than 8.5 by 11.
All right, I'm just, yeah, that's where I was getting lost, because you still could be,
I know, I could just use middle of the book.
yeah, okay, all right. I missed that, that's where I was confused. All right, sorry.
So we shall advance that.
All right, anything else? Anyone have questions, comments?
You want a motion on those changes?
Yeah, can we make a motion as amended? You want to make a motion as?
I'll make a motion for those,
This will be to approve this as the final
with those
draft.
three changes. The location of the meeting, the graphics. And that was it.
That was it, the two
So the two things.
It could have been three, you know, if you add them together.
If you do the two graphics and move one to there, that's three. We're good. I'll make that motion.
You can't second.
No. Maritza seconded. Let's have that in the notes. Okay. Who's seconding it? Elizabeth. All right, any of the discussion? Anyone have a problem? Are we okay with as amended? And then let Andy just go? Okay, approved as amended. Thank you, Andy. All right. It is now 5:19. I'd like to go back. And we have a public hearing So we have a request to waive the fee of a replacement toter. And so who's, all right, come on up. So I think that was your note, right?
Right.
All right, I'm gonna pull that note.
It's really not a replacement, it's just instead of big mold on
You- let me just-
it.
All right, so if I read the note, to whom it may concerns, I have never received a toter for recycling. I'm requesting the Board of Health to waive the fee to replace the toter, the recycling toter, okay? And that's yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, note, February 2nd, call,
That's what I wrote.
okay, all right, that's you, all right. All right, so, why'd you steal our toters?
I didn't steal it, no one delivered it, so period. I've been recycling in the blue containers that you've given me for years,
Yeah,
and that's what I've been doing. And on January 11th really is my date, but they came on the 12th. They picked up the trash, but they left the blue containers.
Just a little rectangle.
Okay.
yeah,
And I want to know why. Because I never received a, whatever you want to call it, a bucket. Those
the recycling thing.
Yeah, I never
Those have been out for
8 years
recycling,
each only.
2008.
Heavy section.
I've been there for 51 years.
Right, and so you've been using the small little
Yeah.
blue things that we used to have before the
Yeah,
toters,
and I
yeah.
never had a problem before. They've always picked them up, except this time.
And this time they didn't pick it up. And,
And I have called before and they said, I don't know who was spoke to, I should have written it down. And I mentioned before that I had those 2 containers and it was up there and they said, yeah.
okay, so. Is the question whether they're,
I just don't want to
No,
pay $60 for.
so the question is whether you want to be able to use your blue toters or that you want the recycling.
It's
You
like
want-
you've been, but not pay
Right.
the
So you want a regular toter, and you're saying you never got one? You never got one originally? Okay,
The only reason this is even here
yeah,
is we adopted some regulations saying that there's a required type of toter now. And we also adopted policy when we adopted the toter program that any replacement of a confirmed waste toter would be a deposit to get it replaced, and any replacement of a recycling toter, because they were all given out in 2008, would be whatever the cost at times, which is $60. Ms. Moran came to me and expressed that she had never got one. I have our curbside collection guy going around this is recycling week, right? And the last recycling week, noted, so we're getting a database of who actually has them, but I do not have a record that Ms. Moran ever received it, so I cannot deny her.
So-
She's requesting it valid.
tie goes to the runner, right? Okay, so,
I consider personally that they're selling those.
I do have a quick question for Andy. So you do have a database for those that received them?
We have a database for all of the trash toters, and we're building the database for the recycling toters.
So right now, we don't know.
It's not complete, but yes, I do not know if she.
And by building, you're just going around to see who's using?
Trash day, we go out and we're taking down registration.
Melissa?
And now, have you gotten at least a part of the database done that is their street, like they're part of the neighborhood, or you just?
We actually started this after she came in because of this.
Because it's, okay. But it doesn't look like there's any evidence that they ever had one anyway.
I can't confirm that
I
they
think Casella did this in 2008.
Yes, and they didn't submit to us, but distribution was.
Tracy, do you remember if you delivered a toter to their house in 2008?
If she's that good, she needs a big raise.
Part-time school.
All right, so, I mean.
So you've been using this, you've been
I've
using
been
the bin
using
this whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think talking to Eric, and we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, is that I've seen other of the small buckets out there. But if they come with new technology, which is the clamshell or the grabber, that has to grab the toter and dump it on the top of the truck. The one that went to my house today has a little side load, so the operator can pick up those buckets and throw them.
That's what
But if it was the grabber, there's no way that the operator can get and dump those by
The
physically.
issue is, it
So-
doesn't comply with our laws. We just adopted the
plus,
laws,
yes.
and they don't comply with the laws,
We
so
have
we should
that.
be changing them.
They
But
have to
some
have
people say,
power.
why did it just come up umpteen years down the road? Because of new technology and how it's picked up.
Because that's what a smart was, like, oh, wow.
Yep.
So, anyone want to offer a motion to waive the fee?
Yeah,
Okay.
make a motion to waive the fee.
I'll second.
Okay.
There's still plenty of stuff.
Tony,
Well, I don't consider it a
Tony was-
replacement anyways, if they never got it down.
Tony was trying to get a second.
Tony's having a moment, that's just walking away.
Just
But I
gotta
know, I
be a
want
little
to see
quicker.
one
You
thing.
gotta be a little quicker. Any other discussion?
Yes, you got something to say?
No, I know, I'm good. I like it. This is what we should do.
Okay. So all those in favor of waiving the fee? Okay. All set. Are they going to be getting a toter?
That's the,
Is that
I
just-
am recycling from, I pay for it right now.
okay.
1063
Welcome to my world. 1063 Lebanon Hill.
Last house on the left.
Eric? Deliver.
So when will we be able to?
Oh my God.
No, I don't care. I mean, I just,
I will put it on the list, and we will get it out either, should see it by the end of next week. Okay?
before my recycling day.
All right.
Your recycling day is this week, so
No,
no.
that's all. I got all my stuff on the floor.
We should be able to get it to by the end of next
Okay,
week.
thank you so very
No
much.
problem, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a couple minutes. Actually, I'd like to close the 5:15 hearing.
you want to close it?
I make a motion to close the 5:15 meeting.
Okay,
All right.
Roland, you get
I
the
will
second.
second that.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got,
We gotta have.
Go, right?
You gotta name on the minutes.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Always
All
there.
right,
Thank you very much.
okay, the hearing closed. And is the recycling solutions here? Okay, so you don't mind if we start 2 minutes earlier, right?
Not at all.
Okay,
Yes, we do.
we do?
If you post it for a time, because you don't know if there's a citizen out there who might want to offer.
Okay,
Sorry, not that I don't love you.
okay, we'll go to agenda item, we'll go back to agenda item 7, new business.
This should be.
Oh, no, we still have.
6B.
Oh, I'm sorry, we missed the fee schedule.
Yes.
So we're on 6B, final fee schedule.
Do we want to get into this, or do we want to move this further down? Because this could be 10 minutes, discussion.
So-
Have them wait.
Without objections, we'll put that off, to later and do new business. It's okay? I was just getting in front of it. It wasn't a mistake. Well, that's what I'm gonna tell you. So agenda item 7, new business. Anyone have any? I don't believe we're dealing with too much new business today. We're in a time crunch.
So this should be real quick. You sent off an application for us for this, for the donation boxes.
Yep.
Right, the only thing that I'd recommend on this
Please.
would be a second signature. The first thing was the signature of applicant.
Yep.
I'd put signature of controller, and then below that, put signature of owner. So there's
Some
two
people get
signatures
both on
from each
board.
one. Yeah, they sign off on that.
Then nobody can say I didn't know it was.
That's right, because you
Right.
just do the applicant, I can do it myself.
Perfect.
The one would be very nice.
Nice catch.
I know. You weren't at it for a reason. I wasn't quite sure.
I'm done now.
You're not just here for a pretty
Of course,
person.
you could have
Yes.
discussed that in the donation box discussion.
Sorry I couldn't get here for starting time, so I couldn't make citizens forum. But I just wanted to know if there's any new report on the light issue.
Light issue, we asked my board wishes I can.
Because now it's back there.
We can do it. You
What
want to
is
do it?
it, your announcement?
Health director announcement, if you wanted to do that. If you wanted to.
You tell me what to do.
No,
I do what you want to do.
Well, I mean, we'll take
It's
a,
5:30, it's not.
5:30 now.
I know, we're running, what times are they starting?
6:30.
Okay.
But there's a hearing at 5:30 if you want to go there, and then after the hearing, I can make whatever comments you want.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll get back to that. We are now at 5:30, and so I would like to make a motion to open the 5:30 Recycling Solutions Appeal for the waistband fine.
Motion.
And Roland, okay, Dave seconded, okay, any other, I don't think there's any discussion anyway for that, so everyone okay with that? All right, fine, come on up. Robert's rules, make things go smooth.
And there's a motion and a second, there has to be a vote, or a motion to withdraw the motion. Just put it out there.
Well, no. All right, so, who's Mr. Crowley? Right there, okay. So tell us what's going on.
Okay, I'm Michael Mowbray. I'm the managing partner of Recycling Solutions. And I can, first of all, I want to thank you guys for meeting with us on this appeal. I can explain to you the reason for the tires and the waistband items being in the loads. First I'd like to try to describe our facility. So the Dedham Transfer Station is owned by the city of Dedham, and it is a former incinerator that was built back in the late 50s, early 60s. It burned trash for about 8 or 9 years. The EPA changed the air quality standards for incinerators. The facility closed as an incinerator, and they converted it to a transfer station. So we are on a 2-acre site in a former incinerator building, and the trash that we pick up, well, when we dump out trucks into this building, they dump directly into a hopper. So we have to be, first off, very selective of the type of material we accept, and number two, we do inspections on these loads as they're being dumped. We took over the facility in 2008, and we filed our permits with the Commonwealth of Mass DEP. The facility was previously operated by Waste Management. So we took the Waste Management document and essentially duplicated their processes for waistband items and et cetera. Waistband items, because of the way we dump out our material, can't be effectively 100% policed and removed. I brought with me a video on a laptop computer that we just took from a cell phone. You can see the video of how the material falls out of the truck and into the hopper. So in filing for our waistband compliance with the Mass DEP, we had to ask for leeway as far as acceptable quantities of tires or CFCs or other material, and we incorporated that in our waistband compliance. So I have with me copies of our waistband compliance and the Mass DEP regs. I can go through that with you line item by line item, but I can just pass them out so you can see where our permit is and what the language says. But because of the fact that we can't safely pull the material out of the loads consistently, the DEP allowed us, as part of section 19.17, not a carte blanche, we can't just dump everything. So if you look at our annual report, you'll see that we pull tires out to the best of our ability. But there are circumstances, because the way the load is dumped, that we can't capture everything and we miss something, and then there's safety factors. So when we delivered the loads to you, they had been previously screened by us, but if you want to watch the video, you'll notice how the material falls out of the trucks to get a sense of how we inspect and how we remove the material. I spoke with the DEP today, just as a refresher to kind of get a sense of what our permit says. They feel comfortable with the quantities that we have. Talked to them about, 1 or 2 in the loads. It's a de minimis amount is what they refer to it as in their permit that they approved for us. And it's also in the regs on 310 CMR 19. I also brought with me, so I guess first things first is, I received the letter on December 7th for the violation notice. I'm not sure if we were not dumping at the facility at the time, but we never received the September 1st notification. Not that that bears anything in here, and for changing, just letting you guys know that we didn't receive those, the change in the criteria. In 19, 310 CMR 19, if you'd like, I can go through with you what the regs say and how.
No, I think
I just
we
have
are.
one quick question for Andy in regards to this. Andy, what was the number towards the violations and what were they? What were the banned items that were done? Were they all tires or was it other banned items?
Can I stand on protocol and ask you to hold that question until he finishes his presentation?
Well,
Because
that's fine.
Boatload tires, as many as 5 in a load. 50% of the loads that were recorded had in excess of 1, so it's more than 1. 3, 4, 5, 2.
Okay, so it's multiple tires every load.
You're talking
So-
about
50% of loads.
100-yard trailer here.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that's what I'm trying to get a sense for that.
I don't want to speak for the whole board, so correct me if I'm wrong. Our issue is not what the DEP regulations are of what's acceptable and your permit. Our issue is what we find acceptable, at our facility. Are we in agreement on that?
Absolutely.
And so regardless of what DEP finds acceptable in the load, that's not what we find acceptable, because that stuff still has to be removed either by you or by us. And so I think we can move a little quicker and get to the core of the issue. One of the things is if you were never notified, I think that's important. That's going to be important, and then talk about the fine. But I don't feel that we need. If anybody else wants to hear DEP's, acceptable limits and all that.
Is there a purpose behind the DEP acceptable limits that you're referring to for us at all, or is it something that, like, we can see on the video and take a look at how you guys are screening it, or is there anything?
So, we operate under the permit issued by the DEP under 310 CMR 19. They are the ones that interpret their regulations, and they're the ones that issue us this ability to do this. Because of the fact that waistband compliance is something that happened after this facility was built, as well as other facilities that accept construction waste that didn't have a processing site assignment, the DEP allows what they consider not necessarily an indemnification or a waiving or some type of pass. What it is they try to regulate the material as best possible, and they try to capture as much material as possible, but they realize that facilities similar to ours don't have the ability to pull the material out. So we have, on occasion, what we do is we've reinvented the facility by we dump material, and if we see a waistband item, as I will show you in the video, we stop the process and have to have an excavator come into the building and pull the material out. But if you watch the video, and that's one of the reasons why I brought it was so that you can get a sense of the material doesn't flow out in a smooth, simple process. Because it's an old incinerator and the truck's backed right at this hopper, the load drops out. And, I'm shocked, so the second reason why I brought the video was because I was shocked that our employee had the ability to stop the process and because he noticed tires. And when you watch the video, I can tell you, as a trained eye, I've been a garbage person my whole life, I was surprised that he was able to stop this process and capture these 2 tires. But
Okay.
And you notice there's no, refrigerators, that stuff that's in, that we have in.
Right, the other waste bin.
Because that stuff's easy to catch. You see a refrigerator on that truck, you stop the operation, we're able to pluck out tires. Residents put them in bags. You guys probably see it, you get them at your curbside. They hide them in trash bags. Then they bring them to the facility, they come out in a trash bag. By the time they go in the compactor, they go in the 100 yards, and the bags rip off them, and, they come out at the landfill or
Okay.
incinerator. So it's,
As I stated earlier, the bulk of the violations were tires. However, 12.4 CFC, 12.8 a CFC, 11.8 a CFC, 11.17 a CFC. What's this one, a CRT on the 28th of November, and the 28th and 29th both had a CFC. CFCs would be chlorofluorocarbons with dark
So
water.
refrigerators and air conditioners.
And air conditioners. So there were 2 of them, maybe 7.
yeah, so the CFCs could possibly have been like an air conditioner or a smaller unit, because those was, a refrigerator is something we would be able to see, would be able to pull up,
Okay.
so.
So, okay, fine.
I'd like to see the process if possible at some point, because if you're talking huge volumes, well, I know the facility, how can we expect, but I still don't like, so that just shouldn't give anybody complaint to be able to just dispose of whatever, but I'd like to see the process.
Yeah, I'd like to see it also, but just understand, we have concerns about what's being dumped at our landfill. And our concern is not your inability to remove the waste man item.